hope you all well, and we will start the class today. So we have our last lecture for this semester, and unfortunately we could not meet face-to-face the whole semester. And well, that's unfortunate, but under the circumstances, I hope you don't have any trouble in this class. Anyway, first, before we start the topic for today, which is the system maintenance, I would like to give you some information regarding the the final exam. As the midterm exam, what you need to do is just submitting your final report. I already asked you to prepare the last part of your final report, which is implementation and maintenance plan last week. But okay, I'll describe maintenance today. So first, the schedule. Your final exam schedule is on the Saturday, December 19, and between 1:30 to 3:30 p.m. Okay, I'll provide. I already opened and set up final exam topic on kuliah side. It's on topic 16. If you look at your class, the submission will be open on Friday, December 18, starting from 1:30 p.m. on Friday. And the submission deadline is on Saturday, December 19, 3:30 p.m. West Indonesian time. So please submit your assignment accordingly. Okay, I provide you 24 hours for anticipating that kuliah site having problem. And if kuliah site having a problem, I will let you know the alternative. Probably it will be using Microsoft Teams, but I'll let you know later if we have problem. I don't anticipate that we have problem, but if we do have problem, we will use Microsoft Teams. So submission open on Friday, December 18, 1:30 p.m. and submission will be closed on Saturday, December 19, 3:30 p.m. Okay. Now, what you need to submit? You need to submit your final report on the system that you have developed for the whole semester. And I will release this to you later. The report should have the following component, but sorry, it's not should have, it must have the following component. One, brief description of the completed system. I'll share you the screen now, so you can see it by yourself. Can you see it? The screen. This is the final exam requirements. Can you see the screen that I shared?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So these are the components that you have to be included in your system. First, the brief description of the completed system. Completed system design. Justification for developing the system instead of buying or outsourcing. If you remember, this is one of your earlier assignment. Project management, which is you have to explain the phases and work breakdown structure, showing the plan and actual achievement. You already did this with the plan, but I don't think you have updated with the actual achievement. So if you are planning to create a plan for 3 weeks, how many weeks you actually create the plan? compare the planning and the actual achievement. The next component is budget. You already made this. Functional requirement. This is your midterm exams report. Sorry. Database design, form and report design, dialogue design, and also implementation and maintenance plan. This is the, and you need also to describe each individual contribution toward the whole work. So, for example, group member A contributed to this, and this. Group member B contributed this, and this, and so on and so forth. Okay, so that's I'll post this requirement on the kuliah site later. Okay, so but now I think most of the components that you need to submit already in your position. You already made it. You just need to create a completed report and adjust the report accordingly. Okay. That's the final exam requirement. Any question about it? Anything you want to ask, clarify? No? It's all clear? Any question?
Sir, I want to ask about
Yeah.
the dialogue time.
Okay.
Is what kind of is the narrative of the design or what?
Yeah, the whole design, not only narrative. Look, dialogue means that you create a form and report, right? So with dialogue, you specify which form will be used by user first, and then what next, what next, what next. So dialogue means how the interaction between users and the system. Just take a look at the dialogue design materials. Let me see which material is that. Which lecture? Let me check first. Okay, so it's on lecture 11, interface and dialogue design. That's the one that I'm looking forward to. Is that clear, Kevan?
Okay, sir.
Anything?
Thank you.
Okay, good. Anything else? Okay. Okay, good. Thank you. Then after the exam, I will try to give the marks as quick as humanly possible. And then I'll announce the draft using both kuliah site on announcement and also Microsoft Teams. So please take a look at the draft of your final grade for this class. I'll give you time to make any objection, clarification, or question regarding your grade. Once the period for questioning ends, I will submit your final report. And that would be the final, I'll submit the final grade to the faculty, and that would be final. There will be no remedial exam for this subject, for this class. Okay, so there is no remediation. Okay, everything is final. So I suggest you to provide, if you have any objection toward the mark, let me know during the period of I announcing the draft. Okay, I'll let you know when the period. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay, good. Thank you. Okay, if there is no question, I think that's the announcement that I need to make. So final exam, the questions or the problems that you need to answer, which you already have majority of the answer anyway. The final grade and also no remedial exam. Okay. Now, our lecture today is about system maintenance. Let me check if I'll share the screens. Can you see this? Can you see the slide?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay, good. Now, basically, the system maintenance, if you look at the materials in lecture slide and also on the textbook, system maintenance is keeping the system working as smooth as possible. Okay. From time to time, there will be problem need to be solved. The system having performance problem, maybe the system having error or bugs. Okay. If you remember on the implementation, there is a stage or a phase where you conducting testing. Okay. Regardless of the methodology and how good or how disciplined you are in testing, there is a possibility with the complex system that from time to time your system will have problems, will have bugs, will have errors that were not known before. Even with rigorous and good testing, there is always a possibility that the system will have error, unknown error. Okay, take a look at Microsoft product, take a look at Apple product, take a look at any product. Okay, for example, few years ago, Apple, when they released their, I can't remember which iPhone they get. So Apple usually release the phone with a good quality phone products. Okay. However, few years back, let me check it. Okay. So, so back in 10 years ago, kan? Yeah, 10 years ago. Okay, so 10 years ago, when Apple released their iPhone 4, there was a problem with the product. It's called the antenna gate. Why? What's the problem? Apparently, when somebody squeeze the iPhone 4 hard enough, it will break the antenna. Something that were not anticipated before by Apple. Okay, they have tested the product rigorously, and I know Apple quality assurance system is quite good, and yet it, they didn't notice on the testing. Probably somebody doesn't have a strong enough grip to create a problem with their iPhone, but that's the problem. Apparently, somebody is strong enough to squeeze the phone and creating problem with the antenna. It's called the antenna gate. Things like this. Okay, so especially with software, especially when your software interacting with other software, it could create a problem. Few years ago, I had a friend that he create mobile application using a component from Google that called jQuery. You don't need to know what this component do and any other because it's technical. But suffice to say that my friend used jQuery from Google in his application. It's mobile application. So what happened was, one day, suddenly Google changed the jQuery from Google was available for free. At least until nothing is still free. You can use it. You don't need to pay anything to Google, and they will happy to provide you with it. So the jQuery from Google was at that time was updated to a new version, and apparently this new version break my friend's mobile application. Okay, so all the mobile application that has been installed by his customer, thousands of them, could not work because the new jQuery components. So that's also a possibility. Okay, so with maintenance, you find a problem with your system and you try to solve that problem. Okay, the problem could be bugs, like I said, security, or the problem would be performance. Okay, so when the system being used by 1,000 users, it's fine. But then when 2,000 users use it, it's getting sluggish, getting slow. So you need to solve that. How you solve that? Using the mini SDLC or system development lifecycle. So it's actually a miniature of what you have done throughout the semester. Okay. Now, all that material you can find it on the lecture slide. What I want to show you today is a bit different. This is the current trend in IT industry. Okay. There's a trend called DevOps. It's abbreviation from development and operation. In most respected IT company or IT function in a big company, they will separate the development of application from the operation of the application. If you remember, accounting information system topic, within the computerized information system environment, there should be segregation of duties. What's the segregation? There are three functions that should be segregated. First, the developer should be segregated from the administrator, the one who runs the system. The one who makes the system should not be the same as the one who runs the system, and also should be different from the one who uses the system. So there are three different functions: users, developer, and administrator. DevOps covering two of them, which is the developer and administrator. Okay, so what is DevOps? DevOps is a set of practices that combine software development and IT operation. Combine means those two functions are separated, but they have to work closely hand in hand to ensure that all the system being developed can be deployed smoothly into operation. Okay, so it aims to shorten system development lifecycle and provide continuous delivery with high software quality. Yeah, so it's just like the modern company today. Google, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp, they launch new version every month, sometimes 2 or 3 times every month. Microsoft will launch a new feature perhaps every month. Okay, so DevOps try to smoothen the process from developing the system to putting the system into operation or implementation. Okay, so this is the IT development and IT operation. When I was working for photographer.net, I was the IT development manager. So my duty is to develop and test the system. The IT operation manager is somebody else. IT operation responsibility is to deploy. Deploy is a term used for implementation. So When you finish development and testing, you give that software to IT operation and they will deploy it. They will install it. They will put that if they have to install it in users' computers or user device or mobile devices, they will install it. It's called deployment. Some deployment can be, it has to be installed manually, so you have to download it and install it. Some other can be deployed automatically, like Facebook. You know, if Facebook change their color, they can change it anytime they want, and you don't need to do anything with your devices. It will change automatically. Maintenance and administration. So, implementation that you already learned last week, and also maintenance, fall into the IT operation responsibility. Okay. Now, with big, well, I don't need to say big, with a decent company that has proper practice in IT development and operation, there should be 4 different environments. Let me show you this. This is the environment. There should be development environment, there should be test environment, staging environment, and production environment. Okay. So staging and production is under the IT operation responsibility, while development and testing are under IT development responsibility. Okay. If you use kuliah site, you use Microsoft Teams, you use Siatma, okay, that's in here, the production environment. You use Facebook, you use Instagram, Twitter, and so on and so forth, you are here on production environment. Production environment means the system that actually being used and operated by the users. Okay. All the testing, all the trial, all the experiment will be done here and here. Okay. I'll tell you about staging later. So this is the typical flow of system development. First, the developer will create a new version or a new features or a new software or whatever here. Okay. And then after they finish, they will push that software to testing environment, and there will be a testing being done, just like when you learn about implementation last week. There are many testers. In a big company, tester will be different from developer. Okay, there is one, if I'm not mistaken, there is one company, Gameloft in Jogja, that they have a dedicated tester for the game that being developed by Gameloft. Okay, so they have tester for that, different from developer. Developer themselves, they will conduct testing, unit testing, integration testing, but the complete testing will be done here. Okay, if they find problem with the software, it will be sent back to the development to be fixed. They fix it, send again to testing, another rigorous testing will be done. And once they are satisfied with the testing, they find no problem with the testing, then they will hand over the completed system to operation. The operation will prepare the system in staging environment. What is staging environment? Staging environment is basically the copy of production environment. Okay. Why they install it in staging environment? Because production environment should not be disturbed. Imagine the production environment of any big bank in Indonesia. If they mess with the production, they will create some kind of experiment or testing here, you can imagine it could break the business. It could disturb the operation. And for a big bank like BCA, Mandiri, BRI, or any other banks, disturbance in their system means loss of revenue, and it could lead loss to customer. Okay, loss to their image, loss to their reputation. That is bad. Okay, so the main principle of good IT operation is not disturbing production unless you're pretty sure that the new system will run smoothly. You cannot just push the new system into production. Okay? You prepare it in staging environment. So what happened with staging environment? You prepare the system. If you look at it, there are different color between development, testing, and staging. Why? Because in staging, it's exact copy of production. If you look at, there are three boxes here, while in in development and testing, only one box each. Okay, three boxes, because it's similar. So all the servers are similar, all the software are similar to production. They install the new system in the staging, and if you remember the distributed system, they have to set up the distributed system here, similar to production, and then they test again the system after they sure that the system staging is stable enough, then they will push that into production environment. And when they are pushing that, sometimes they don't need to disturb anything. They can just do it. For example, if the new system is small enough, it can be pushed from staging to production within 1 or 2 hours. They can do it while the company closed, usually over weekend or any big holiday. That's why once I saw when in one company there was a deployment of new system happened during Idul Fitri. Why? Because everybody just went on vacation. The business closed down, so they just do it then and there for 2 days because nobody used the system at the time. So if they make mistake, they can restore the old system back. Okay, so basically this is the development, production, test, staging, development, test, staging, production. That's the environment. So from development go to test. If it's satisfy the test criteria, return to development, and then if it's nothing happen here, it satisfy all the requirements, is go to staging, they prepare for production, and then push to production, so on and so forth. That's the DevOps system. Any question? So, if you were thinking a career in IT, you don't need or you don't have to go to development if you don't like. Many people founding that career in operation is well paid. It's a good career. There is one work that's called the site reliability engineers. This is in Google. There is this position, site reliability engineer. It means that this person makes sure that Google run smoothly. Okay. That Google service run without interruption, things like that. Okay. And if they paid handsomely, it's even better than the Google's programmer. Okay. Any questions?
No, sir.
Okay. Okay. I think that's. Sorry. from the camera. Okay. Now that's the end of our topic today. However, before I close the class today, I don't expect you to be a seasonal system analyst after you finish this class. Now, the one thing that I expect you to be able to do after this class is whenever in the futures you as employee or as manager or as a business owner need information system, you know where to get it. It's either you can buy it off the shelf, buy and make modification, or you can build it yourself with your own resources, or you can ask somebody to build it for you. And sorry, you know what you need, you know what you require. Okay. Sometimes IT people will come up with a gold-plated solution. The best, the most expensive, the most complete, but you may not need it. You don't need gold-plated solution. What you need is that's one example that was given to me by some senior people that I work with. He was wise. He said to me this: if you need a truck, sand, sand for building materials, okay? You need truck. Okay. Any truck that can move that building materials from one point to another point would be sufficient. If you need to move building materials, you don't need Mercedes S-Class, you don't need Ferrari, you don't need Bentley. You need truck. Even, old dirty truck, as long as it could work moving that materials from one place. Okay. So that's the analogy that I use. If you need truck, buy truck. Don't buy BMW sedan, don't buy Ferrari, don't buy Lamborghini. Sure, it's nice to have BMW, Mercedes sedan, Lamborghini, Ferrari, but for moving building materials, sands, and all other dirty materials, Ferrari won't cut it. Okay, so buy the one that you actually need and can use. Okay, so that's it for our class. Thank you for this whole semester. I know this is not ideal. You probably have difficulties. I have my own problems too, but under the circumstances, this is probably the best that we can achieve. Okay. So good luck with your exams, all your exams. Keep your health and safety as priority. And until we meet again in other classes or other subject. Okay, so see you then.